Hello, friends of Milo Records. This is Kim Vu-Dinh, owner and janitor of Milo Records. I created a short video here as a toolkit to help you apply for unemployment insurance and tax rebates. I'm specifically focused for gig workers and self-employed people who are working in the cultural economy. As some of you may know, in addition to being the janitor here, I'm also a law professor and attorney, but I want to clarify that this video is not legal advice and it is not intended to create a legal relationship, a client-attorney relationship with you. It's just an educational toolkit. What is the CARES Act? It stands for Corona Aid, Relief, and Economic Security, and essentially the law created a fund of $2.2 trillion dedicated to help those who have been negatively affected by the coronavirus. There's special provisions that include gig workers and other self-employed people to receive the benefit. So even if you didn't qualify for unemployment insurance before, you may be covered by this act and receive benefits from it. And we'll go into that in just a bit. The CARES Act created two types of benefits. The first that we'll discuss is the tax rebate, which is essentially a one-time payment that is either mailed to you or goes directly into your bank account. The second type of benefit is unemployment benefits. And so this is going to be a set of ongoing payments that you can receive during the period of unemployment. And that period is limited to a certain amount of weeks depending on what state you live in. How much will you get from the rebate? Well, first, you must make under a threshold amount. So for a single person who files taxes on their own, the adjusted gross income must be $75,000. So you have to make under $75,000 if you're single to receive the benefit. If you're married and you file jointly, that limit is $150,000, and it can be possibly more depending on if you have children. And the threshold is determined from your most recently filed tax return. So if you didn't file for 2019, it's okay. You can still receive the benefit as long as you filed in 2018. The benefit amount itself, it will be $1,200 if you are single or $2,400 if you and your spouse filed jointly and fall within that threshold. And it can be a little more if you have children or other legal dependents. If you want to know the exact amount, you can click on this rebate calculator from this website that is a think tank's website on tax law, and it's actually incredibly helpful and easy to use. What do you need to do to get the rebate? In most cases, nothing. So the IRS is going to automatically calculate the rebate amount that's owed to you based on your most recent tax return. And if you filed taxes online and have already registered your bank account, then it's just going to go to your bank account. If you don't have a bank account on file with the IRS, then you will receive a check. So whichever method that you receive any kind of tax refund, that's how you're going to receive this check. But if you want the check to go to a different bank account than the one the IRS currently has on file for your Social Security number, or if you just want to give them your bank account number, the Treasury is going to be developing a web-based portal for individuals to provide that information to the IRS online. As of April 2nd, when this video was made, that portal has not been made, but the website has stated that it will happen soon. When will you get your rebate? As of April 1st, 2020, it's really hard to say, but the U.S. Treasury Secretary has stated it should be about 3 weeks for those who electronically file and 6 to 8 weeks for those who file on paper. and to clarify, file taxes on paper or electronically. So who qualifies for the expanded pandemic unemployment insurance? The new law greatly expands those who are covered. So even if you might not have been eligible before March, you may very well be eligible now, so long as you're not eligible for any other state or federal unemployment benefits, you're unemployed, partially unemployed, or can't work because of the COVID-19 public health emergency, and you can't telework or receive paid leave for your current job. So this includes all of those who are self-employed and have lost income due to coronavirus measures. It also includes those who are partially employed but have lost employment that began after January 27th, 2020 and ends on or before December 31st, 2020. So those of you who are musicians who are not employed full-time by a venue but maybe are employed on a contract basis, though you would be considered self-employed, and this could apply to you. Okay, the full list of conditions are available on this website link that I put here, but essentially gig workers and those who work, maybe you receive a 1099 from various venues or various events that have hired you, you would likely be considered self-employed and could apply for these benefits. So who determines if you qualify for the pandemic unemployment insurance benefits? This is a federal funding program, but it's going to be administered by the State Department that administers unemployment in your state. Okay? So even though the pandemic uninsurance boost is from the federal government, you apply to your state as if you're applying for normal unemployment insurance benefits. Can someone who got laid off before the new law was passed qualify for the new benefits? Yes. The key factor is that the lost wages from work that was scheduled to begin on or before or after January 27th, 2020 and ending on or before December 31st, 2020. How much are you going to receive? That amount is determined as a base amount determined by each state plus $600 per week. That $600 is an amount that is uniform across the states. So even if the state determines that you're only eligible for $10 of unemployment a week from the state coffers, you still will receive the $600 per week of federal money if you qualify for this program. So how much is that base amount? It depends. Each state determines how it calculates the base pay, and it's based on your most recently filed income tax return as a percentage of that. In Louisiana, that base amount can vary between $81 to $451 a week. In Arkansas, it can vary between $10 and $247 a week. And Tennessee, it can vary up to $275 a week. And I was unable to find the lower limit in Tennessee. But essentially, it's a slightly complicated equation for each state that I just didn't bother including here. For how long can you receive these benefits? In Tennessee, up to 39 weeks or until you're employed, whichever is sooner. In Louisiana, up to 39 weeks or until you're fully employed, whichever is sooner. And in Arkansas, up to 29 weeks or until you're fully employed, whichever is sooner. And how do you receive these pandemic unemployment benefits? You need to file with your state's Department of Labor for normal unemployment benefits. And by the research that's online of each of the states that I've just covered, it looks like filing online will be the quickest way to receive the benefits. So which state do you file in? Some of you take gigs all over the country, all over the world, but you live in one state. So the easiest would be to file in the state where you worked. But for those of you who work all over, then you should file in the state where you file your income taxes. So if you worked in a state other than the one you live now, or worked in multiple states, contact the state unemployment agency in the state where you now live for information about how to file with other states. But you cannot have more than one claim at the same time. So you can't file with Arkansas and Tennessee at the same time and get benefits for both. Probably the simplest thing for you to do is to file in the state that you live in, or to file in the state where you file your income taxes. These are all the things you're going to need in order to file: your social security number, the name, address, and telephone number of any place you've worked in the last 24 months. If they give you a 1099, input that exactly as it appears on the 1099. If you don't have a 1099, then collect any contracts or receipts you might have with that person or place's information. You're going to need an alien registration number if you're not a U.S. citizen. You'll need a driver's license or passport, a telephone number, a valid email address, and your banking information, which should include the name of the bank, routing number, and address. So just as a heads up, these are really new laws, and the states have not changed their forms yet. Okay, so prior to this law that was passed, a little over a week ago, part-time and gig workers were ineligible to receive unemployment insurance. And so since then, no new forms have specifically been generated for gig workers and part-time workers. And most of the states in the country, including the 3 that we are specifically discussing here, are waiting for federal instruction on how to handle it. At the current time, all 3 sites are recommending you apply as soon as possible, even if you're a gig worker, and even though they are not exactly sure how to process your application. So with that being said, in the section that asks for the information of your last employer, even though you are self-employed, you're going to want to put the name, number, and point person of the place that had to cancel your gig because of COVID-19. That person should be the person who can verify that your gig got canceled. There's a few ways to file in Louisiana. You can file by telephone, and you can file an unemployment claim online. There's also a website about the changing laws and the changing procedures at that link that I provided. In Arkansas, there's multiple ways to file. You can file in person, over the phone, by mail, or online. And the links are there. If you're going to file online, just a heads up, you're going to need either one of these browsers, either Microsoft Internet Explorer 6.0 or higher, or Mozilla Firefox 2.0 or higher. And strangely enough, you can only use the online application from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. The online link is here. When you get to that link, when you click on that link, select unemployment in the toolbar at the top of the page, and then you'll select the EZARC link, and then from there it's pretty straightforward. In Tennessee, it looks like I believe you must be able to apply in person if you really needed to, but from the website, all it does is provide a link. Okay, so it doesn't say the address you should go to if you want to file in person, or a number you can call to file by phone. So it looks like as of now, they only want to take these applications online, but this could very well change, okay? But to select the online application, go to that website, select online application, then select get started, and then there's a toolbar about 3 inches from the top of the page. Select the drop-down menu under unemployment benefits and select file a claim, then select next, and it should be pretty straightforward from that point onward. So there's 2 confusing questions you have to answer in a particular way for those of you who are gig workers or self-employed. So they ask this: are you self-employed or the owner or operator of a business or farm? You should answer yes to that. Okay, this is for you musician gig workers. And then there's another question. Within the last 12 months, have you received a notice of termination or layoff from your job or received documentation that you are separating from the military service? Okay, for that question, you should say no. So just a heads up, in many states, you're going to need to file on a weekly basis. So essentially, you just renew the information to receive that next week's check. Do not lie on these forms, okay? So these are government forms that it's very easy to figure out you're lying because it's all related to your social security number. And if you are caught for lying, this could impact your ability to get any type of public benefits in the future. So I highly advise you to not lie on these forms. Another point is that these benefits are taxable, so you're going to need to include it with your annual income at the end of the year as if it were gig income when you file for taxes. Another note is this is a pretty strange time, and the amount of unemployment claims that have been claimed in the past 2 weeks are more than the past 11 years. So not since 2009 have there been this many unemployment claims. So you're probably going to have to give this a couple tries over the phone or the internet, or have a long wait in person. So have patience, but this is all kind of just part of the process, and you just have to accept from the outset that it might not go through on your first time. Here are some helpful links. There's the Tax Foundation, which is it's a tax law think tank. It's a nonprofit think tank that has really good information, really up to date and very easy to read. There's also the U.S. Department of Labor's website. It has a couple helpful press releases, but it varies as far as easy to read. And then here's the Arkansas Division of Workforce Services website and also the Louisiana Works website. I didn't find the Tennessee website particularly helpful. It was a bit confusing, but the link is provided earlier in the Tennessee section page of this presentation. So this was written by myself and my dog, Milo Vu-Dinh. And also you can thank Taylor Smith of Taylor Smith and the Roman Jasmine for this fun and inspiring soundtrack that really helps you get in the mood to get that money. Okay, everyone, good luck. If you have questions, the best place to ask is going to be the state agency and the social worker, the caseworker who's going to be handling your claim. Okay, so best of luck, and I hope this was helpful.